background. All right, you guys ready? Everyone, mic check, mic check.
The clown has no penis. You hear that?
By the way, Lai, I created a drop for you already.
Oh.
I created one.
Is it the last app?
It's from the last episode. I have it saved on my computer. I just gotta create it into I have to download. This is app I could download on the Mac that I could import it into Google Hangouts and I could press the button. But I have to. I only get 4 buttons or 5 buttons. I have to pay.
Can I hear what the buttons are and guess?
I have it downloaded yet, but I could play.
Oh, so next time
I could play it for you. Give me 1 second. Let's see if you can hear it.
No, I can barely hear that.
Hold on. Let me take out my headphones so you can see it. All right, ready?
It's not a difficult name, you goon. I'm adding the trade.
Hello.
Vladislav.
Put it by your other trade.
Yeah, thank you. It's not a difficult name, goon.
You heard it?
I heard all of that, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But it's plays your part and then it goes into the whole thing. But I have a job of you just saying the name.
Vladislav?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
All right. Are you guys ready? Yes, no?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. Nick, good? Any questions? All right. All right, Lau, you can cut me down.
Wait, one question. How many games is Kareem Hunt suspended? 8 weeks, you said?
Like Kareem Hunt is going to be able to play football.
I don't think he's been given
How are you talking to yourself?
He's indefinite right now.
Well, I'm just
I don't think he's been giving numbers.
We're going to debate all that. That's perfect. Okay, ready? Go ahead.
Wait, you didn't answer my question. Was he suspended at all?
No, but we don't know.
He's
suspended indefinitely. That's all it is. Yeah, we don't know how long it's going to be when he comes back.
I just heard some guy say he may be back for a playoff run if the Browns make playoffs.
Suspension, he'll be back way sooner than that.
247 Sports. Suspension is coming for new Browns running back Kareem Hunt.
Okay, so mention that when I ask you about it. Mention the source, mention what they say, and then we'll go into it. All right, ready? Someone just
5.
All right, cool. Welcome back to another episode of J&J Talk Sports Podcast. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter and Instagram at J&J Talk Sports. Make sure also to like and subscribe. Press that little subscribe button for us, whether you're listening on Google Play, iTunes, Podcast, or SoundCloud. We appreciate every like and subscribe that you guys give us. We really appreciate it. I am Justin Skywalker Palizzi. You can follow me on Twitter at EasyPalizzi_21. That's easy. POLIZZI_21. Joining me this week, like every other week, this guy puts the Lyle in style. Lyle, how's it going, buddy?
Thank you, Justin, for the new intro again. It's your boy, Lyle Style. You can follow me on Twitter at LYLESSTYLE. As you can tell, it's Popped Collar Day if you're watching on YouTube. Because, why not be a little preppy today? And also with us is the other man, myth, legend, possibly anecdote, Stefano and Nick. How are you today?
How you doing, guys? Thanks for that wonderful intro. And as you could tell, if you're watching the YouTube, I'm rocking the New York Jets attire because I'm not a fraud like Lyle. But that's nor here nor there.
Do I have to go grab my Revis jersey because it's right there? I can grab it.
I mean, if you want to wear trash, go ahead.
Oh, come on.
Hall of Fame.
Respect. Yeah, respect the name at least.
Nick has the Titans Revis jersey. That one is nice, but the rookie jersey Revis, did he even see the field?
Yeah. He played every day. You know what? I'm not even getting into this.
Listen, trust me. I know a lot about. I know a lot.
We got into this early.
I know a lot about Revis in his rookie year. The Giants drafted Aaron Ross and he only lasted in 4 years in the league before Darrelle Revis was drafted. So trust me, I know the mistake. But that's a good segue there. We're gonna dive right in to our outline here. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the NFL. Actually, a couple of topics regarding the NFL. But the first thing before, it's not on our sheet here, fellas, but did you guys hear that apparently the Jets are considering cutting Isaiah Crowell?
Yeah.
So
That's fine.
it's probably going to be. So, I mean, you guys obviously are going to be in the market for a running back now because Bilal Powell, I mean, he's not getting any younger.
He's 30.
Yeah, he's old and he fights injuries every year. Maguire's the same way. Maguire is unproven. So, do
He's
you guys
young.
think?
We have him and Trent Cannon.
So, do you guys think you'll be in the market for Bell or just in the market for a running back in general?
There's definitely gonna be talks.
So,
Yeah.
I think there are going to be talks with Bell, as Nick's saying. I'm going to throw another name out there before we get too much into Bell. And this is a name I heard about today. Leonard Fournette. He does not want to be in Jacksonville.
He's on the block.
Sure. He's on the block. We do have 2 running backs behind him that can take some of the load. I don't mind sending a little something over to Jacksonville for some Leonard Fournette.
What would you be willing to give up?
So again, I heard this about half an hour ago, and I haven't really thought about what I'd be willing to offer. But it's an interesting prospect, in my opinion. Nick, how do you feel about that?
Well, grabbing Leonard Fournette, I would love that. He's a very diverse running back, whether he's running the ball with elite force or catching the ball at the backfield. He was my top running back going to this year. If we can grab Leonard Fournette,
2 seconds?
why not?
2 seconds? 2 second-round picks?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay. So one person I think that the Jets should keep in mind here, and I think they could get him for cheap, and by cheap I mean like a 5th rounder, 6th rounder. He'll fit Adam Gase's offense perfectly as he is top 5 receiving back in the NFL, and he's not going to cost you anything, like I said. And that's Duke Johnson, and I think that's going to segue right now.
Yep.
I mean, it's official. Kareem Hunt has signed with the Browns. He was cut earlier. Well, not earlier this year, but December.
Tail end of last year.
Yeah.
Last season.
By the Chiefs. The Chiefs were making history. Patrick Mahomes was making history, throwing 50 touchdowns. The Chiefs were rolling that offense. It was amazing, and they did not. They were not afraid to cut Kareem Hunt hours after that video release of him having a domestic violence situation with a female. So there's that. So any thoughts on the Browns sign? Now I have crazy thoughts about this, but Nick, I'll let you lead off here first. What are your thoughts about the Browns signing Kareem Hunt?
I mean, this is coming from a guy that I would have loved if the Jets signed him. I mean, granted, what he did was wrong, 100%. There's absolutely no excuse for what he did. You don't touch a woman like that in the way he did. But I mean, he does deserve another chance. He's a top 10 running back any given year. He's diverse out the backfield. He's a great runner, great instinct. Now they have tremendous depth at the running back position. They have Kareem Hunt, they have Nick Chubb, and as you stated earlier, Duke Johnson, which honestly,
probably trade him.
There's
now.
not much room for him. He's a primarily receiving back. He's good value that would be well used in a nice trade.
Now, I know you may be a little bit upset about this because Nick Chubb was the man. He had a great rookie year. It doesn't make sense for me for the Browns to go ahead and put themselves in a situation where now you're going to have, magnified glass on top of your organization now, because people are going to look into you guys saying, hey, look, the Browns were 0-16. They turned it around. They went 7-8-1 last year, which was phenomenal turnaround. Baker Mayfield could have been the rookie of the year. He wasn't. He lost to Barkley, but I mean, great year by him. He proved a lot of people wrong, and he proved a lot of people right at the same time. John Dorsey has done a lot of great things for this team, drafting Baker Mayfield, drafting Ward at the 4th spot, where a lot of people thought he should have won Chubb. Maybe still so, but Ward had a great year. Then he hit huge on Chubb in the 3rd round he took him. Second round?
Yeah,
Why
second round.
sign Kareem Hunt? Lyle, what are your thoughts about this?
I think Dorsey's looking over at the Saints and seeing they make Ingram and Kamara work. Why not us with Hunt and Chubb? Also, assuming that the NFL, does something with Kareem Hunt and, trying out for punter on someone, he's going to get a pretty hefty suspension. So you're not going to even see Kareem Hunt until week 10 at the earliest. And whether or not –
247 Sports says that he's looking at a 10 to 12 week suspension, so he's primarily going to miss the whole regular season, for the most part.
Wow.
Yeah. So
10 to
Yeah.
12 weeks. I think he's only going to get like 6 to 8, to be honest.
I think he gets like 12. After that, he appeals. The appeals board gives him 8, and it's he's got to do a lot. He's got to go through the apology tour. We have to send him through the ringer because again, the situation is she may have been starting altercations. She may have said X, Y, and Z. She may have called him there. There's the push. Okay, he pushed the dude into the girl, but the second you kicked her while she's down, like whatever happens. I don't feel bad for you. Yes, allegedly a racial slur was dropped, so I understand the anger, but you cannot kick a defenseless woman on the ground. You just can't do it no matter what is happening.
Yeah, you could look at this from many angles, and I mean, I truly believe that talent trumps all. And in the NFL, when you can find a back like Kareem Hunt, who's only 23 years old. Yeah, Ray Rice was on the back end of his career, so I don't really necessarily blame the NFL for not giving him another chance. And also, it was kind of the first of its kind what he did, and plus what Ray Rice did is like 20 times worse than what Kareem Hunt did. But doesn't matter what the degree of the assault is. They both, committed domestic violence against a female. So I think this goes back to John Dorsey's days in Kansas City, because he was part of that regime that drafted Hunt. So he may want to, kind of bring that back to Cleveland. I just don't get the move. You have a young back in Chubb. Duke Johnson was coming alive at the ending of the season. He looked great. You want to talk about that Kamara and Ingram 1-2 punch like you were saying, Lyle?
I was going to say Chubb and Duke Johnson.
I think Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson could be just that. Honestly, I think now
if we're looking
I think
at pure talent, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is a better backfield than Nick Chubb.
Absolutely. But I don't think they need to put themselves in that situation. I don't think it's that much.
They're used to it. They've had Josh Gordon for the past 5 years.
But they got rid of him.
Not speak ill of Josh Gordon.
You see. But on a serious note with the Josh Gordon part, when they got rid of him, everyone thought, okay, the Browns it's a new phase, new era. It's all about winning. It's all about having a great locker room. You got rid of someone who was having problems dealing with drugs, but then you're going to bring in someone who hits women and obviously can't handle their liquor when they're out drinking. So I mean, I don't know. It's just my thought. I'm not saying the guy doesn't deserve a second chance, because I mean, you know how I feel about Kaepernick. I think he should be in the league. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Kareem Hunt should be out of a job by any means necessary. I just think the Browns signing him kind of baffled me in a way that, I mean, the whole world was kind of shocked by this. You didn't think, I think not necessarily the Browns, but did you guys really think that Hunt was going to be signed 2 months after being cut, after this was released? I don't think any of us saw him being signed that soon.
I absolutely saw this coming.
Okay.
No, I mean, again, as you said, talent trumps all. Any NFL team will be willing to take this type of lightning rod. Because you want to know why? Because eventually, unfortunately, this kind of stuff goes away. Unlike the issue with Kaepernick, where his issue, unfortunately, because it is a societal problem and something he was standing for or kneeling for, will never go away. And that's one of the reasons why NFL owners will go, oh, he kicked a woman. You know what? We can get through this. He can be better, and he could be useful for our team because this distraction will go away. Whereas Kaepernick would never go away. His distraction will never go away.
And that's I mean, quite honestly, that's the bad thing about the NFL. It's a bad thing about society in general, that someone who hits a woman, we could slap them on the wrist and go ahead, here's your second chance. But a man who is practicing his rights as an American to
freedom of speech, to protest,
to practice the freedom of speech, to protest of what they believe in, it's unfathomed. So it's baffling to me What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think Kaepernick will have, I don't think he'll ever get a chance. I think this is different.
Well,
if he doesn't get on the team before spring training or OTAs, whatever the case may be, I think his football career is done.
Well, I think there was a couple quarterbacks last year he could have started over, i.e. Andy Dalton, Blake Bortles, whoever the backup was to San Francisco. There were so many places that he could have been.
Nick Mullins, my man Nick Mullins tore it up last year.
Well, didn't Nick Mullins come in halfway into the season?
Games. Nah, he only started like 3 games last year, like towards the ending of the year.
Yeah, but point being, Kaepernick has the talent to be an NFL quarterback. He could have been a quarterback for the Jets for the last 3 years, but again, it's the stigma of the NFL and the United States. Like, just everybody just over dramatizes whatever's going on, and honestly, Kaepernick's suffering through it.
So for fantasy, right? I mean, we all
to say Kaepernick is suffering. Kaepernick's, yes, he did suffer in terms of his career, but I think he's done more as a societal figure doing this, and I think he
as a Nike ad.
No, not even as a Nike ad. He's done a lot for raising awareness, even though he did get muffled out by a lot of noise. He did a lot to promote these injustices that were going on and letting people know, this is not okay. And at this point, I'd still love to see Kaepernick in the NFL. At this point, he's 2.5 years out of the game. He's not coming back. We have to accept that. But I'm hoping with Eric Reid re-signing for 3 years today, that his message continues, that the NFL continues to, try and make aware of the injustices, as well as, fix their own sport by, not letting domestic abusers get away with kicking people on the floor.
Here's where I think the difference is. Now, Reid is clearly a top 32 safety in the league. I mean, there's 2 safeties per team, so he's clearly on the higher percentile when it comes to that. Kaepernick is not clear-cut a top 32 quarterback in the league, especially not now, not having been played. So is it even worth a team to have the headache of Kaepernick? The publicity behind it, the PR nightmare that I'll probably be for that organization, that city, that town, that state, whatever the case may be. Is it worth it to just have him as a backup quarterback? I don't think so. I think that's what a lot of teams are probably. That's what I'm saying. That's probably what a lot of teams are thinking. He's not worth the headache for a backup.
No, a lot of teams could flip that. Just like how Nike's stock went up, I think like 8% after they released that commercial of Colin Kaepernick. Wow, you can make that face all you want.
It went back down, but that's fine.
All right, yeah, it went back down. But the point is, as soon as they released the Nike advertisement with Colin Kaepernick in it, people rallied behind it, and you can always flip the situations. That's what PR people are for.
Okay,
and
so
go ahead.
But the NFL is poor at PR, as we've seen, and they can't handle it because, again, half of their fan base doesn't think there's these injustices, and again, they're entitled to their opinion. They're wrong, but they will never, because there's a whole. It's not just 2 people or 2 small groups. It's entire political machinations after this, and they can't flip Kaepernick because there's always going to be people trying to turn him into a demon.
I just think that now I'm going back to the Kareem Hunt situation, but before we move on to our next topic, I think the fantasy football gods just don't like their fans because this is a fantasy football nightmare right here. Like Nick Chubb was possibly going to be the backup end to the beginning of a second round pick next year. No doubt about it. Like he was going to get picked in the top 20. Now, Nick, I mean, what do you think he falls? I think I will probably still be willing to take him on the back end of the second if I had like a back-to-back at the first or second pick of the draft, because you can take him for those 8 to 10 weeks. If Kareem Hunt's suspended that long, that's all you need to at least get to the playoffs, and you'll figure it out then. And if Kareem Hunt is out 12 weeks, then you pretty much have him for the whole season.
Of the last year of Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell is going to be the guy on the team, but for the first 10 to 12 weeks, you can expect RB1 numbers from Nick Chubb. Again, the nightmare for any fantasy football player is running back by committee. Because you don't know who's going to get the volume. You don't know if it's a PPR league, who's going to get the catches at the backfield, which that's even plays in where Duke Johnson coming in, because Duke Johnson's going to be heavily enrolled in the passing game. So it's a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare situation.
So it's official via Twitter. Kyler Murray has decided to choose football over baseball. He is entering the NFL draft. He is attending the combine, the whole 9 yards. As far as his extensive workouts in the combine, we don't know what exactly he'll be participating in. I'm sure he'll participate in his pro day as well. Now, I mean, there's a lot of speculations going around Murray. Is he really 5'11"? Is he shorter than that? He's too short to play quarterback. And he last? Can he throw the ball? Is he going to get
I'm
hurt?
hearing 5'9".
Yeah, I mean, he's listed at 5'11". So
5'9",
I
like
mean,
195.
so we'll see officially when the combine comes. I mean, he can't avoid being weighted and measured by height. So, Lau, do you think he made the right decision?
So I think what Kyler Murray is projected to be a top 2, top 3 QB first rounder.
Yes.
I'd rather so there is the potential, toll to your body that you'll take. There is the potential your career might not be successful. But if you're a first round NFL pick, you're already making the millions. Whereas if you go to baseball, you're going to be in AAA, and you might not ever make it up there. As I tell all these athletes, secure your bag. And Kyler Murray is securing his bag
Get that money.
with a sport that is more infatuated with him. The NFL has a lot more infatuated into Kyler Murray than the MLB ever will. Because the MLB already has their quarterback sideshow, and that's Tim Tebow. You think Kyler Murray will garner
First
more
of all,
press attention
the
than
best
Tebow?
quarterback in the MLB
Okay,
is
Russell Wilson.
Wilson.
But I'm just saying, Kyler Murray is making the smart call he's making a smart business decision, as well as I think he has a better chance of being successful in the NFL.
If he would have chosen the A's, wouldn't he have made 4.5 guaranteed?
That was his signing bonus. His signing bonus, correct.
And then upwards of like 14 million if he actually would have made it to the team.
No.
There's a.
So let's start from the beginning before we break down the money part. The repercussions of the MLB, right? So this has been going on for years, but people don't really realize it, right? So it all starts with players like Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. These players were phenomenal athletes, crazy athletes. I mean, you ask old timers, hey, who are the best athletes you have ever seen? They're gonna say Sanders. They're gonna say Jackson. They're gonna say one of the two if it's not Jordan or LeBron. Now, baseball has been losing its athletes to sports like basketball and football because they're sexier. I mean, let's be honest. Baseball it's boring. I mean, you don't have the type of you can show someone in New York City, Mike Trout, a picture of Mike Trout, and they'll literally look you in the face and say, I don't know who that is. Show someone from Alaska, Tom Brady, and they're going to know who the heck Tom Brady is, regardless if he has 6 rings or not. They know who NFL players are, and they have their helmets on. And they have their helmets on.
It's the UGG commercials.
The Uggs commercials.
Uggs are very heavy out in Alaska.
True. Very, very heavy in the snow. So I think this is bad for baseball. I mean, they're losing athletes left and right because they're just, as a sport, it's boring to play. And the financial side of things, which we're going to dive into a little bit later, that is also another thing. Can you guys guess what former and current NFL quarterbacks were drafted to the MLB? You guys know anyone?
I think Drew Brees.
Russell Wilson. No Drew Brees. Anybody else?
Colin Kaepernick.
No.
Phillip Rivers.
Nope.
Christian Hackenberg.
I know one more.
I'll tell you, some of these quarterbacks are actually some of the greatest of all time.
Proceed.
Okay.
Jeff Samardzija.
Elway was drafted in the MLB. Dan Marino was drafted. Stabler was drafted. Wilson, of course, you guys know, was drafted. And even Tom Brady. They were drafted. And they were all high draft picks. Late round draft picks, like the compensatory picks. Michael Vick was drafted in the 30th round. And Patrick Mahomes was drafted in the 37th. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of a trend you see these quarterbacks being drafted. So, yeah, Mahomes, yeah. Everyone knew Mahomes. I mean, his dad was a great pitcher in the MLB. So, well, a good pitcher in the MLB. Now, he's choosing the NFL over the MLB. Now, there's a lot of, financial things that we're going to go in here. Do you want to dive into some of the guaranteed monies that he will be making when it comes to the NFL?
I don't have the exact figures, but I will tell you that the likelihood of the money again is a lot more for a first round pick in the NFL than it is for a AAA baseball player. The pay scale is greater, and long term, if he's even a mediocre quarterback, look at the numbers that some of these mediocre quarterbacks are getting. Look at the numbers that So for a first rounder, it's $5 million minimum, plus 25 to 40 mil if he plays all 5 years, and he's going to be going to a trash team, probably the New York Giants. And even if he gets cut before his 5th year, before the 5th year player team option, he still gets $25 million. Before that, in the MLB, you do not make anywhere near that much. Sure, you might get a $4.5 million signing bonus, but you are making nothing. Look how much Aaron Judge is making.
Go ahead.
Look how much Andujar is making. Again, I'm preaching Yankees because Yankees are seen as teams that buy players. But when you're coming out of a farm system, you are making pennies. DeGrom was making less than $1 million last year.
So
Syndergaard was making less than $1 million last year. These are aces, my friends.
So there's a lot of pros for baseball. I mean, one, the minute you step on a field, you have medical insurance for life for you and your family. That's awesome. I mean, that's great. That saves you a ton of money with whatever future job you have. You get the signing bonus. He got what? Nick, you said what? 4.8, 4.2 he ended up getting.
Yeah, about.
He ended up giving back, I think, like 1.5 million of that.
That's to give 1.2 of the 1.5 back.
And he's forfeiting the rest, but which means that the Oakland A's own his rights still for baseball. So if he ever wants to go play baseball, he has to play for the A's. I think that's fine. He doesn't need to go enter the draft again. He's fine. He's in the A's system, whatever the case may be. With baseball, what people don't know, the minute you get drafted, the team owns 8 to 10 years of you. That's it. There's nothing else you can do. He's 21 years old, Murray? I'm assuming he's 21 coming out the draft.
Yeah, he should be 4 years in college, I think. 3 years.
If he spends at least 3 years in the minors before he gets called up, he's 24 years old. Okay? The team, and he's a superstar. Superstar. Aaron Judge, is he a superstar? Just out of curiosity. More or less, he's a superstar.
He's a face of an organization. He might not be a superstar in terms of his play.
He's a top 10 hitter in MLB.
He's a superstar. He's a superstar in gravitas, and that's all you need.
Regardless, Judge isn't going to get paid in MLB because the Yankees own the rights of him until he's the age of 31. How much money is he going to get by the age of 31? How many years? How many years is he going to get? He'll get like what? If a team is desperate, they'll give him like a 5-year, 6-year contract worth $200 million. The Yankees will probably give him 3 or 4 years. There's no money to be made in baseball unless you're, and I say this all the time, if you're going to play baseball, if you want to become a professional baseball player, there's one route to go and one route only. Go straight from high school. Just go straight to high school. The 3 years you're developing in college is the same 3 years you're going to develop in the minor league system while making money. Not crazy money because they get paid pennies compared to McDonald's cashiers. To be honest, minor league players get paid less than the minimum wage in New York City.
Which is going to be very, very contentious in the next coming CBA.
Yep. And I don't think baseball is going to change. I really don't. I don't think they may change the pay system, but they're not going to change the fact that MLB players own the rights for 10 years, which I think is BS, if you ask me. Here's what Michael Kay says something interesting. The reason why baseball is like this is because they feel like if you're going to be in their system, their farm system for 3, 4, 5 years, and you're developing into a star, and the minute that you can actually play in the MLB, they feel like the team should still own the player for a couple of years before they actually could test free agency. I think it's both BS, but that's ultimately why Murray probably chose. He's going to make way more money in a shorter amount of time. So in the short term, I think it was a good decision. Any final thoughts about what Kyler Murray has chosen to do before we move on?
Not really. I mean, if I were him, I would also go the route of the NFL just because it's a more egocentric route. You know, I'm not saying he has a big ego or anything, but again, you want to be that quarterback that took your team and you won a Super Bowl. I feel like winning a Super Bowl, in my opinion, is better than winning a World Series. It's just, I don't know. That's my opinion. That's my take on that.
Will he be a good quarterback in the NFL?
He'll be okay. He's athletic.
He's a great athlete. He has a great arm. He's fast as heck.
Yeah.
So
he can play the game. He'll be fine.
In terms of quarterback, you think he'll be the second one picked or the first one picked?
I think
we got to see the combine.
Yeah, I think the Giants are really looking at Dwayne Haskins. So
right now, you think he's second off the board?
Yeah,
I think once the combine comes, things always change. Again,
he has a small frame. He's about 5'9", 5'10". He'll probably run the 40. He's probably gonna be the fastest 40-yard dash for the quarterback. Probably one of the fastest in the whole draft in general. He has a strong arm, big arm, but again, will he be selected based on his size? Now the model has become the smaller, more agile quarterback. You can run a scheme out of that.
Can do good, yeah. Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. Well, Drew Brees is not as athletic, but he's still small.
Russell Wilson's 5'11", 205. This kid is 5'9", 200. Baker Mayfield's also 6'1", 215. It's tough. It's tough.
Are we looking into the fact that Laken Riley is a quarterback whisperer at all, and this could just all be a mirage, or is Kyler Murray the real deal?
Well, from what I'm reading and what Baker Mayfield did last year, he's going to have to get a QB coach because for the most part, he's been training his last 4 years or so to become a baseball player. Now, to expect him to be able to, all right, I just decided I'm going to the NFL draft, it doesn't mean he's ready for the NFL. He's been spending the last 4 years preparing for baseball. Now, is he going to have the fundamentals down? He's going to be able to be a quarterback on the next level? That's yet to be seen. Again, that's what's going to have to happen in the combine.
Yeah.
I'm saying they still got to evaluate him and see how that plays out.
Yeah, I read somewhere that actually it's easier to go from playing professional football to playing professional baseball as opposed to vice versa. The thing is, you have to continuously play baseball in the offseason, which I'm pretty confident he probably would. I think he loves baseball too.
I'm sure he hit a bad
understand. Here and there. He was like he's like a top 5 baseball player in the world in college. Like he's an amazing baseball player. He's like Bryce Harper, Mike Trout type of level where they were at this point. But who knows? I mean, he was forced to do the years of college. So we'll move on from this to something that was a little bit more exciting. Then guess what? The NBA. The AAFL, the Alliance American Football League, kicked off this past weekend. And guess what the ratings were?
Better than the actual NFL.
2.2 was the rating.
From what I heard, it was better than the actual NFL.
No, it was better than the NBA.
NBA?
It beat the NBA on Saturday. The best rating on Saturday for the NBA game was 2.1. They got a 2.2. It wasn't by much, but people just loved their football. Did any of you guys get to catch any of the action this weekend?
Highlights. I saw Matt Asiata. I saw Trent Richardson. Both getting the end zone. Hackenberg was complete trash. I saw Sims get lit up. He got demolished. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, I'm a person that loves football over any sport. It's good to have something after the Super Bowl.
Lyle, I know you definitely watched like 5 games.
So there's only 4 games because there's. No, the only reason, again, I suffer from NFL fatigue. The reason why I'm super excited for the AAFL is because we get to see players who are like on the cusp of cutting it into the 52 roster, play some more. We get to see some names that may have fallen off. My boy Brandon Oliver from UB, good friend of mine, is back in playing. He's the leading rusher on his team with 40 yards on 8 carries. There's a lot of like current NFL players actually playing this to like kind of keep the shape and keep it going. Well, I think the coolest thing is, the one great thing was Christian Hackenberg is still absolute trash, but Zach Stacy made an appearance. Like, there's some names that, like, again, it's very interesting. I like some of their rule changes. They have a 9th official in the sky to call off penalties. They have they do like the Kansas playoff where each team gets the ball to 10.
Do they have like a live replaying? Like people get to
live replaying, no kickoffs. The only thing I don't like is no kickoffs, but they also no extra points. It's only
it's cool.
I'm fine. I'm fine with no kickoffs. I think it's like the NFL. Okay, that's cool. At the end of the day, the way I view the AAFL is kind of like D League of the NFL, like people who got a second chance somewhere where they could stay in shape, make some money, and give themselves a second chance to make a roster. Because let's remember, rosters expand in the offseason for NFL teams. They go for what, 53 to 100. So those 43, those other 47 players have to come from somewhere.
Bring in as many as they want. First cuts to 90 and second cuts to 53.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's great for the NFL, and I think it's great for football fans in general. It kind of gives us something to watch in between that time of the ending of the NFL season, which is the Super Bowl, and then the NFL draft. Because right after that NFL draft, we dive right into preseason predictions and stuff like that.
I mean, you can also watch Champions League instead. Watch a sport that's beloved by billions. But whatever.
Oh, but that's football. That's football. We're talking about football. So there's two different. I mean, you gotta enunciate it better. So some teams. So I just want to say out some teams we have in the league. We have a team from Atlanta, the Atlanta Legends, Birmingham Iron from Birmingham, Alabama, the Memphis Express from Memphis, Tennessee, Orlando Apollos, weird name, from Orlando, Florida, Arizona Hot Shots, the Salt Lake Stallions, the San Antonio Commanders, and the San Diego Fleet. Kind of weird names, very like army and military base kind of names.
I mean, it's look at where these teams are positioned, and look what's around them. The team names make sense, but I just want to comment on one team.
They're all south, by the way. The only team that's even in the Midwest is the Stallions.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in the Northeast, but we don't need it. We have so much. But the big thing, and I think the one team I want to throw my weight behind this year, because of Brendan Oliver and because of what was done to them, San Diego. You have a team now. They're back. I'm with you 110%. Let's go, San Diego. Let's get it.
So if you had to choose a team, that would be the team you'd be rooting for?
What do you mean, if I had to? I've already chosen. It's already done.
It is decided.
It is decided.
So some notable players that are playing in the AAFL, Lyle and Nick, you both touched up on some. Trevor Knight, quarterback for Arizona Hot Shots. Matt Sims, Stephen Hill, former wide receiver.
I've defended that guy for way too long.
Stephen Hill.
Stephen Hill. I think we caught him in the second round a couple years back.
Aaron Murray also plays for the Atlanta Legends. We have Blake Sims, Scott Tolzien, former quarterback for the Colts, I believe. Running back Trent Richardson, Nick Novak. Remember him? They play for the Birmingham Iron, the Memphis Express. Christian Hackenberg, Zach Mettenberg, which is two quarterbacks that overachieved in college are now basically playing in the AAFL. Zach Stacy and Chris Givens. Remember Chris Givens, former speedster for the Rams. Orlando Apollos, coached by none other than Steve Spurrier. Don't know any of the players, the notable players on this team. You got the Salt Lake Stallions. They have Matt Asiata. San Antonio Commodores have David Cobb and Darrell Richardson, another former Rams running back to go along with Zach Stacy. And then the San Diego Fleet, probably my favorite. It's probably going to be my favorite team too, Lyle. They have Josh Johnson. We all know who he is. He had a great ending of the year.
For the record, I misspoke. Brandon Oliver is on Salt Lake. They will be my second team. Whereas the San Diego Fleet will still continue.
More notes of why Lyle's a fraud, but
yeah. So and then the San Diego Fleet has Josh Johnson, and then they have Bishop Sankey, who I drafted continuously year after year, thinking he'd be the guy at Tennessee, and they ended up signing DeMarco Murray. So yeah, that never worked out for me. Breaking news though, as of an hour ago, Christian Hackenberg was so great, that they went and signed Jamarcus Russell to now play quarterback for them.
That is the greatest team ever to exist. I can't wait to watch them crash and burn. That's so satisfying.
You're going to have Zach? I don't know if they cut anybody. I mean, I'm pretty sure they will keep Hackenberg, or I don't even know. They just, can you even choose between Mettenberg and Hackenberg? Can you cut them in half and kind of put them together? Maybe they'll be something.
This will be equally as bad.
Jamarcus Russell is back. That's going to be kind of exciting. I'm looking forward to watching him.
I hope he's done sipping lean. That's all I can say.
The man, the myth, the legend, the one that first threw off his knee and threw for 70 yards, yet no one ever seen a video of him doing it. So
Oh, there's video, and that's that lean strength. That's that lean strength.
That's that lean straight. So can we get behind this? Can we get behind the AAFL or are we gonna soak it in?
I'll catch a game next week.
Yeah, I feel like this week was kind of bad. Like it was just, I think it was too soon to the ending of the NFL season for me. I didn't get to like really soak in sadness and be like, damn, this Sunday is boring because
it's a little depression of no football for a while. Then just boom, here we're back.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't give me a chance to miss it.
The AFL just came up and said, "Welcome back."
Exactly. And I would love to see a New York team, but not like New York City, not like, playing in Jersey and call New York. I always like to see a team like from Syracuse or like Buffalo, because Buffalo really needs a football team, like a good football team, because the one that they have there.
Yo, wait, we can't have Bills Mafia coming after us. You better take that back.
Bills Mafia,
they're gonna crack some tables in front of us.
For the record, Bills Mafia has come after me 3 separate times, and I'm still here.
Hashtag Bills Mafia. We'll make sure we'll give you guys a shout out when we drop this episode. Let's transition into a more circular ball, and no, that's not football. And by football, I mean football. Let's talk about the NBA for a little bit. Now, last week we dropped in a great episode. I think it was probably one of our best episodes. We talked about every single NBA trade that happened. Well, for the most part, mostly every NBA trade that's happened. Now, the episode before that, we talked about Porzingis. We talked about how that impacted us fans. Me and Lyle, as diehard Knicks fans, we gave our thoughts on that. Now, I want to ask you again. Now, it's been 2 weeks since the trade happened. Lyle is a very reactive person, if you guys don't know him. The minute we drafted Porzingis, he was God. The minute we traded him, he missed him. What are your thoughts now that you had actually some time to digest the Porzingis trade as well as the other trades, and then what's going to be available this offseason?
So again, what I said about Porzingis trade, initially I was furious, but then as we talked a little bit more, again, as it stands today, it's not a terrible trade. I'm not like jumping for joy. It's going to come down to those draft picks and if we can get some superstars. And in regards to, again, what's available this summer, we got Clay, we got Durant, we got Kemba. There's a lot of good players.
I think he's like automatically off the list. I don't think he has any interest in coming here.
No, but I'm just saying it's a big free agent club. Also, there is Anthony Davis that could be traded for. This offseason is going to be, as a Knicks fan, an offseason that either sets us up for success for the next 5 years or another 25 years of failure.
Regarding the Knicks, Nick, would you trade your first-round pick and plus more for Anthony Davis in this offseason?
Yes.
So even if you have the number 1 pick that could turn to Zion.
Doesn't matter. None of the players coming out are better than Anthony Davis.
So you make that trade regardless of knowing who you can bring here?
100%.
Okay. I'm still a little weary on it because I don't think we have enough assets to bring AD over here. And I'm not trying to mortgage. I don't want to mortgage my future because in order for the Knicks to get AD here, we have no other pieces. Well, they're going to take Frank from us.
That's fine.
I don't think trading Dennis Smith Jr. in that package will help us unless we do bring in a Kyrie. Then it's a little bit different. But now we're just banking on a lot of ifs. I think this trade that we traded away Porzingis is going to work out. I think we end up, and I've been telling people this a lot. I don't think the Knicks get the first pick. We're going to be the worst team in the NBA, but I don't think we get the first pick. I think we end up getting the second pick or the third pick, but we'll still end up with the best player in the draft. So, I mean, it's just one of those things that just happens. Now, I put on the outline here. Nick had brought it up to my attention. The Battle of the Titans. Like, what did I mean? What did I mean? Can the Knicks make history? Now, would you please enlighten Nick on how the Knicks made history today?
Today, the New York. How do you know I knew about this? Because I was like, oh, is he really talking? Is he big? Okay, so the Knicks today have set a franchise record for 17 losses in a row by narrowly losing to the best team in the East. Best team in the East because they beat us. At this moment, they're the best team in the East for today, the Cleveland Cavaliers. it was a hard fought battle. Some scrub from the G League was our highest scorer. And I will say one thing, and I'll send you guys the link later. Herzonga,
Was it the dunk?
absolutely posterized.
Yeah.
So I'll take that as a dub. It's a dub for us.
And DeAndre Jordan was like on the sideline, like going crazy. It's good to see that. I mean, like when you see players like that just get traded, and he's only been with the team for like a week. There's this kind of bond there that I guess he has with those new players. But I'm surprised he hasn't been cut yet.
I did read a very interesting report that DeAndre Jordan could be Durant bait, as in he wants to play with DeAndre.
Huh? Not bad. I mean, we can see, but I mean,
Whatever helps.
Yeah, I mean, we already cut. I believe we cut Wesley Matthews already, so he's playing on the Pacers now. So I mean, we'll see. And Dennis Smith Jr. kind of came back down to earth a little bit after those first 2-3 games he's been playing with us. So I guess we'll see what the Knicks will be going forward. Speaking of New York basketball, we have to give the Nets some love. We talked about it last episode. We said we're going to start doing it. Nick, the Nets have struggled of late. They lost 2 in a row, including tonight to the Toronto Raptors in a game when they lost by 2 points. Came down to the wire. They're 5-5 in the last 10, but they're in 6th place right now in the East, right behind the Celtics. They're probably not going to get any higher than that. So they'll probably finish in the 6th, 7th, and 8th area. Do you think – now, I mean, obviously I think the answer is no. They're not going to beat the Sixers, the Raptors, or the Bucks. But let's say they end up facing the Pacers in the first round. Do you think that's a team that the Nets could possibly get past in the first round?
The Nets could definitely beat a Pacers team. A Pacers team without Oladipo. Come on, Lyle. Let's be realistic. Lyle, making faces? Come on, let me hear.
Yeah, I'm allowed to make faces. The Pacers are a deeper and better team with or without Oladipo. I'm sorry. You're going to trust Alan Crabb and Jared Dudley to stop Miles Turner? Come on, son. Get out of here.
Like the two
You didn't mean non-factors on the Nets.
No, I'm giving you the 2 people that are going to have to guard Miles Turner. Who's going to guard him? Who else?
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen.
Yeah, Jared
the guy
Allen.
who leads the NBA in blocks.
He's going to get abused by Miles Turner. Abused.
Well, I don't think Miles Turner will be the difference maker. He's not going to be the reason why the Pacers win. He may be a part of the reason, but he ain't going to carry that team. So you mean to tell me Wesley Matthews and Darren Collison is going to be a front court of D'Angelo Russell and Karis LeVert?
I'm telling you, the Pacers are a better team, a better coach team, and they play as a unit.
Well, now I want this to happen because I want to take a bet with you. Because the reason why I brought this up because the matchup is there. The 76ers are in 4th right now, but I do see the Pacers falling off. The thing is that Celtics may jump them as well, and then you could kind of kiss the Nets' first round win, which is goodbye. But I do think the Nets could get past the Pacers. I really do think so.
As I have had the Nets underrated all season, you guys underrate the Pacers. The Pacers are a very effective team. They're not flashy. They don't have the superstar that you're going to go ooh-ah, but they are a very effective team.
So here's basically the Nets in a nutshell. They played the Spurs 2 weeks ago. They lost by 3 on the road. They go on the road to versus the Magic, and they lose by 13. Then they come back home and get blown out by the Bucks. They stay at home, and then they beat the Nuggets by 5. They stay home again, and they lose to the Bulls. Then they travel to Toronto, and they lose a 2-point game to the Raptors. It's like they're playing into their competition. So if they're versing a top team in the East or the West, they're going to play great. If they're versing a bottom team in the East or the West, they're going to play crappy. When you have a team like that, there's one thing and one thing only about a team like that. It's the youth. And they're young, and I think the future for the Nets is bright. And they are a very, very underrated destination for a lot of free agents next year. Are there any players or anything that you guys read or heard that may be showing of some interest to go to Brooklyn and play with the Nets?
I could see. I mean, if they didn't have
Kyrie.
such a loaded backcourt, I could see Kemba going there. He's a New York guy. But outside of that, I don't see any of the top 8 going there. I don't see a Kyrie. I don't see a Butler. I don't see I don't see a Clay. I don't see it. But I could again Kemba. But again, you already have LeVert and Russell. It's a crowded.
It's a crowded backcourt.
I mean, the only other people I can see if DeAndre Jordan might go there, again, he's not at his peak, but DeAndre Jordan is an upgrade from Jared Allen. I mean,
so this is where I feel like the Nets are in a bad situation because they're competing for a playoff spot, and rightfully so. When you're in the NBA is very different, right? Like, there's not many teams in baseball that if they just make the playoffs, they just make the wild card and lose, like the Twins did 2 years ago to the Yankees. They were perfectly content with that. Perfectly content. NFL is not like that. The NFL, if you make the team, if you make it in as a wild card, that doesn't mean anything. Because the third best team and the fourth best team also are in the wild card. I think basketball, whether you're an eighth seed or a first seed, just making the playoffs is a very big accomplishment. And I feel like that in hockey are like the two sports that's very, very like that. They're just making the playoffs, and even if you get swept, as long as you make the playoffs, people are happy. And I think the Nets are in a bad situation in their future because I don't think there are going to be many options for them to sign, in my opinion. But they have really good young players, and if Caris LeVert can continue to grow, maybe he could become a young star, not superstar, but a young star. D'Angelo Russell obviously has the talent to be that, and maybe they don't really need to sign players. Maybe they just need to continue during the draft.
That's a team that needs to be well coached. They need to play. They need to play with high energy, and a player like Trevor Ariza could put them over top. A standout defender, a person who can spot up and shoot. Honestly, if the Sixers can't lock down Tobias Harris, that might be a good play for them. To be quite frank.
See, I would love, and Nick, I want to see if you, because you're so quick to pull the trigger for the Knicks. If I was the Nets, I tried hard to get AD. I think that would be like the piece for them with those guards. And they have a lot of young players. They have nothing but draft picks. They're finally rebooted with their draft picks since the Garnett and Paul Pierce trade that they did with the Celtics, which was disastrous. But now I think for someone like AD, you can make that trade again because you have the young talent, you have the cap space. Caris LeVert is young. You're not going to have to pay him for another couple of years. Let him continue to develop. D'Angelo Russell, you're probably going to have to pay eventually, but he ain't going to be a max. So do you think the Nets should try to explore that? I think the Nets will probably will make more sense than the Knicks trying to trade for AD.
I think the Nets have a lot more pieces, or at least valuable pieces, to actually go out and get an AD.
And then keep him happy and compete.
Yeah. And I think with was it Dinwiddie and DeMar Carroll leaving, I think at the end of this year, they become restricted free agents. They're freeing up enough money to.
He signed an extension already.
Who?
Spencer Dinwiddie. He signed like a 4-year extension.
Yeah, he sounded like
so. It must be someone else I'm thinking of. But besides the point, they're freeing up enough money to, I think, have enough money for 2 max contracts. So to get like an AD and then possibly another big name with all the young talent around them, the Nets could become a serious team.
But see, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think they need another big name. I think just trading for AD, giving up some of your young pieces with D'Angelo Russell and LeVert, you don't need another superstar. You just need another good player. You know, someone. I mean, like DeMar Carroll was fine, but if he leaves, you need to bring someone else that could be a 3-and-D guy for you. And I think there'll be a lot of those kind of players in the market this offseason. There's a lot of this free agency class is going to be huge. I just don't think they'll get a superstar unless they try to trade for one.
I mean, even under the rated players like Chris Middleton or Rudy Gay or players along that line, they would fit in well. Those are players that they could look out for.
Right. Okay, so I mean, speaking of AD and the Pelicans, did you guys hear I don't know if it was a rumor. There's a whole bunch of crap going on there. That organization, I mean, despite us making fun of them last episode, Loud, have you seen everything that's been going on with them?
Of course, and I love every second of it.
What do you love about it?
Oh, it's just great. I think the Pelicans still take the dub. Then they tried to bench him for the year, and AD's like, "Nah, I'm gonna snitch," and they snitched on him to get the Pelicans threatened to.
So nah, son.
Like, no. And like I don't know. It was an enjoyable saga. AD's team. The first game, his first touch, the crowd booed him, rightly so. But he scored his first bucket and then cheers. Again, they're gonna cheer
and then
him
drops
out for the
an easy 30 and 16.
Yeah, the crowd's gonna cheer him on. Like AD had to expect the first touch would be booed. But again, everything is great. The Lakers are trash. The Lakers are under investigation for another tampering scandal with Ben Simmons already. Like, the Lakers organization is absolute garbage, and it's so satisfying. But that's my take on AD. The Lakers are trash.
Yeah, and I mean, were they going to get fined? What was it, like 100 grand or something every time they were going to sit him? So I don't. They're obviously not going to do that. And then it's funny that you bring up the Simmons thing. I was going to mention that.
They're gonna
Next.
sit him on back to backs. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, they probably will send him back to. At the end of the day, it's their investment. And they don't want to ruin their investment because if the minute he gets hurt, I mean, you kind of can't really trade him for him as much as you want. Or originally, and that's why I said I think they did the wrong thing by not trading him when they had the chance to this past week. Now, I want to talk about James Harden for a bit. Before I get into James Harden, is he your league MVP right now?
Yeah, I would say so. No, I mean, there's a lot of players in the NBA right now playing at a very high level, but James Harden, it's hard to just step away from what he's been doing all year. I mean, what is his average? Still above 30?
Yeah, he's averaging like 30, 35 points a game.
It's ridiculous. And for the most part, he was playing a lot of the season without Chris Paul or really any role players around him. He is the most valuable player on a team that didn't really have much to show for.
Well, Lyle's probably going to say like Darren Collison or Miles Turner or something.
Firstly, Darren Collison up in the rafters. No, I mean, I love to argue against the front runner, as we all know. It's hard. I can't really make a valid argument.
Paul George, maybe
the only person I can think of, but
right,
the fact that I have to for that, and it's James Harden. He put the team on his back after terrible letting go of Ariza, letting go of depth. Chris Paul's been injured. Harden's literally just taken that team and went, all right, I'll score 50. Just don't suck too much behind me.
Yeah.
And so where would the Rockets be without him? They'd be below the Suns.
Yeah,
I think they're that bad without him.
I think he's the league MVP, clearly. I think the MVP to me, I mean, we've had this discussion all the time. It kind of gets boring just saying it all the time, but the most valuable player is the player that's the most valuable to their team. You take James Harden off, this team is probably fighting for a lottery pick. So that's just my thought on that. I do think he is. Interesting stat, though, I read on Twitter today. I think James Harden has like 70 games, right? Scoring 40 points or more. Yesterday was the first time that he scored 40-plus points and that someone outscored him. And that was Paul George. Paul George outscored him. So James Harden had 70-plus games of 40-plus points, and he's never been outscored but once, which was yesterday. Moving on to the LA Lakers versus 76ers game. That was a doozy. The 76ers won at home 143 to 120. It was a blowout basically after the third quarter. Between the second and the third quarter, the Lakers got outscored by 19. So there's that. And, I mean, LeBron looked okay. He had 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 18 points. But Kyle Kuzma, 20 points in the first quarter, finished with 39. But the big story here are the 76ers and what Embiid was able to do. 37 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. No blocks, and only 2 fouls committed. He shot 11 from 12 from the free throw line, 12 for 16 from the field, and 2 for 3 from three-point range. Are the Sixers the front runners? We have to talk about it.
No, it's still the Bucks. It's still the Bucks.
I still think it's the Bucks. I think that performance against the Lakers, it bodes well with them.
The performance against the Lakers, who have been mediocre to garbage all year, that's fine. You let a mediocre to garbage team put up 120 on you.
Yeah, when Ben Simmons scored 8 points.
Yeah,
you only had 7 assists.
Do you value the Celtics over the 76ers? Because they let Rondo hit a game winner on them.
Yeah, we have to talk about them too. But just finish with the Lakers first.
But yeah, honestly, the Lakers are lukewarm trash on a good day, and I think the Bucks are still the team to beat. They're deeper.
What's the story behind Simmons and this tampering thing? Apparently, he's gonna work out with Magic Johnson, and now the NBA is looking into it.
Magic Johnson said something stupid, and then it's really the best way to put it. And then now the NBA is like, wait, off-season workouts? with Ben Simmons, we need to check all your text messages real quick, because you can't do that, Magic. You're a GM now. That's called tampering. That's called being shady, Magic. And we know what happens. Nope, not gonna make that joke. Not gonna make that joke. It hasn't gotten you very far. Try and be on the up and up a little bit. And like, if you want Ben Simmons, who tried his first three like yesterday,
almost went in. It almost went in.
Horrendous.
The form was bad, but
if he develops a jump shot, he'll be great. But right now, again, he's still the rich man's Michael Carter Williams.
I'm gonna end the podcast here. We're at 50 minutes, which is perfect.
50 minutes, but that's 50 minutes raw.
Yeah, I probably could have done a lot more.
Yeah, but like
a 30-minute episode.
There's nothing else to talk about. It's just I put NBA Finals and League MVP there because I thought we were gonna.
Well, we discussed MVP already.
I know. I thought we were gonna blow through everything. That's why I just added things. That's why I added things to NBA. I didn't want to talk about.
No, we spent a lot of time with Hunt and Murray.
So
that's why I wanted a podcast today. I knew that we could talk a lot about.
That was fine. We didn't have to discuss NBA at all. We could
wrap it up.
All right, ready?
Welcome back. I had to.
Yeah, so I guess I mean, as the season goes on more, I mean, we're not even at the halfway point yet. I mean, technically we are, but the All-Star game is this weekend, right? Actually, yeah, it's this weekend, the All-Star game. So
we're slightly beyond the halfway point.
Little fantasy advice for those basketball fantasy players. It's a 2-weeker this week. Okay, it's 2-weeker this week. You got this week and next week for one matchup. So make sure you guys pay attention to that, fellas. I mean, that's pretty much it. Any last comments about anything? Did you guys learn anything from today's podcast?
Lyle hates the Lakers.
Okay, that's a good one. Lyle, did you learn anything?
Yeah, I learned that Nick doesn't understand. I don't hate the Lakers. I'm just amused by failing prestigious
Are you
organizations.
gonna go wild on me?
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Calm
wild
down.
on you. Lyle hates entitled organizations, and if you haven't done anything lately, I will rag on you. Notre Dame.
What have you done for me lately?
What have you done the past 15 years, Lakers? Again, I like to rag on institutional teams that try and buy goodwill with their history. Nah, it ain't like that, son. It ain't like that.
Nah, son.
Make sure you guys make sure you guys like and comment and subscribe to our podcast on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes podcast app. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at JNJ Talk Sports. I'm Justin. You can follow me on Twitter at EasyPalizzi_21. Lyle Styles.
All right, son. I'm Lyle Style. Follow me on Twitter at Lyle, LYLES STYLE. All right, bro. Like, I'm gonna be out, but before I be out, I need Stefano N to tell us where we can find his laborious words.
It's your boy Big Steph. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stefano N. That's STEPHANOUN. And as always, it is a pleasure, gentlemen.
Wait, before we go, can we
ladies beware.
We get him a Golden State Warriors jersey that says Big Steph. I need him to own that.
Later.
Good night, guys.